But anyway, I was talking to her and I said, I never know what I'm going to preach until Sunday morning. And a lot of preachers I know, and it's not a knock on them, it's just the way that God gives us our messages and the way we go. A lot of preachers I know they will start on a message for next Sunday. They'll start on it tonight. They'll start, they'll study and they'll go and they'll have everything put together and they'll, rehearse it, so to speak. And I don't mean that like it's scripted, but they rehearse it and all that. I've never done that. I don't even know what that's like, to be honest with you. It's just not the way God gives it to me. So like when I get up Sunday morning, I read my word every day, and God gives me thoughts every day. And then I get up Sunday morning, and I just talk to him for a while, and then I figure out from there where he's leading me. And I just trust him with it, I've had people tell me there's no way I could do that. Well, I couldn't do it either, but he can. But I say that only to say that that's kind of like this morning was really cool with that because I spend my time talking to him and I spend my time praying and asking him, okay, God, what we got today? What are we going to do? And, what have I seen this week maybe that, that you want me to, expand on and to be able to preach on? And then there was like this, I didn't really get anything. I was like, I was checking my phone, got you there, whatever. We got good signal. And then literally within, I don't know, probably about an hour before I got here, it just, I just kept reading and then he gave it to me. So it's cool to watch God do his thing, I guess is where I'm going with that. And I say that because it kind of fits into what we're talking about today. I didn't just randomly pull that out of the air. The title of the sermon today will be Dependent of Jesus. In other words, it's like being a dependent of Jesus. And that's the thing is, so I fully depend on God's leadership and guidance in the things that I do here. I didn't used to, I'll be honest with you. When I first came on board as a pastor at CenterPointe, I didn't really know what I was doing, to be honest. And I was like, and I would pray and I'd be like, okay, God, I need you to show me what to do and all this stuff and show me how to do this. And then, I would say it and then I'd just do it the way I felt like it needed to be done, which wasn't always right. I can admit that I made mistakes and I still make mistakes on it. But now I truly, truly trust God to guide me through it. And I realized in all of that, all along, as far as my messages and everything go, that's the way it's always been. At the Emmaus, we give talks, and that's one thing that always messes with me because, we meet for months ahead, and so there's a time in there that I have to go give my talk in front of everybody, and that's on the team, and the people on the team will critique it. And then send me something back. I've never changed anything they said because I don't really care. And, I don't mean that ugly, but I'm just saying I have it because, that's the way God gives it to me. But now, I'll tell you what has happened before. I have gotten to the walk and changed all of it. So when I got up there, everything I said was nothing I said in that thing anyway. So then everybody's looking at me like, this is not, but I don't care because I trust God with it. And, but I'm not that kind of guy. I just don't do it way ahead of time like that. I trust God to give it to me at that moment. He always does. So dependent of Jesus will be in the book of Mark, chapter 10, when we get there. But so last week, we talked about our hope in Jesus. This week, I want to talk about our dependence on Jesus. And we can depend on Jesus because of the hope that we have in him and our faith. When we're children, under the age of 18 or whatever, we're considered dependents of our parents. The government and the world around us or whatever, they see us that way. And as a result, we need our parents in order to do some things, right? Now, I don't think, some people need their parents too much, just to be honest with you. But when we're younger or whatever, we have to rely on our parents to be able to do certain things. Like, we couldn't get our license without our parents' permission. You know, if you're under 18, if you're going at 15 and 8 months or whatever to get your learners, and then 16 and what, I don't even remember anymore. But either way, at those points, you can't do that without your parents. They have to give you permission and to be there with you. But, you know, we couldn't get a job without our parents' permission before we were 18. I know some adults that still seem to be waiting on their parents' permission. Still don't have jobs. I don't, you know. But anyway, you know, we had to have our parents' permission or our parents to cover us on their health insurance in order to have health insurance. And that looks in a lot of different ways. I mean, some people have jobs that have private health insurance companies and all this stuff. And some people, like when I was growing up, my mom, she worked at Gordon Garment, but they didn't offer health insurance, and she didn't make any money. So we had to Medicaid or whatever it was that one of those. But anyway, but I had to have her to have that, you know. And when we're small children, you know, we need them even more than that. Is the thing is we, you know, as older children, we look at things that we need, and now like cell phones, most kids can't have a cell phone unless their parents provide that cell phone. And the good thing about that is I provide his cell phone. If I decide that I'm going to take it, I take it, you know. But you know, and I'm sure most parents feel that way. However, you know, right now he couldn't have that phone without us. He's not old enough to sign a contract. Now, he could go, I guess, get one of those track phones or whatever, but with that, he would have to have a JOB. But nonetheless, you know, when we were smaller, though, the thing is, you know, our parents put the roof over our heads, they put clothes on our back, put food in our mouth, all these things. And some parents have more financial means than others did, okay? So they were able to provide a little more, but that didn't necessarily make it better. You know, it just meant that there was more. You know, I had a lot of friends that had a whole lot more than I did as far as material things and stuff like that, but I always had what I needed, always. I never can remember a time that I didn't have what I needed. You know, even, I mean, look, we used to go, back in the day, they had what they called the welfare line, and we go stand in the welfare line, we get our welfare cheese, our welfare peanut butter, our evaporated milk, and just all this stuff. I miss that cheese, you know, and I'll tell you that peanut butter was really good for putting up posters. That's about all it was good for, but you could really hang some posters with that peanut butter. I wouldn't advise it, it draws bugs, but but it worked until your mama beat you half to death for it. But nonetheless, you know, but as we get older and we grow into adulthood, we like to think that we are independent, right, and that we don't need anybody's help. And I don't have a problem with independence as long as we see it the right way. And, you know, I support it. I support that mindset of being strong and self-sufficient and a productive member of society. You know, but we've got to keep all that in perspective, guys. There are things that most of our parents give us, okay, that goes beyond that previous list, right? But now when we get older, we like to forget about all that, okay? And, you know, the biggest thing is that people do not deal well with, as adults, they don't deal well with having to admit that they have to depend on somebody, right? But all those things our parents had given us, right? But now the things that go beyond that, and these are the same things that we face as adults a lot of times, though, like love and compassion and protection and security. There's, you know, all that. Those are things that parents provide without actually, I mean, they don't have to do anything other than just be there to be that parent. But unfortunately, when we become independent and self-sufficient adults, we like to act like we don't need those. And we do. You know, I still need love and I still need compassion, and every now and then I still need protection and security. And, you know, it's interesting because that's my job, is to provide that for people, right? But I still need it myself sometimes. I just need it in different ways. You know, so nothing could be further from the truth that, you know, when we look at it and say, well, we don't need those things, that's just so far from the truth. We need to understand, though, what or who the source is, really, that those needs should be coming from. And that's the thing that gets us tripped up, because unfortunately, that's not always, we don't put that in the right order. And we're going to look at that today. So Mark chapter 10 is where we are. I'm going to start reading with verse 13. Mark chapter 10, verse 13. I'll be reading from the New King James.